Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I am back once again. I am back with yet another video. Okay. Uh, I hope I can keep my New Year's resolution and make a video every day. Hopefully every day. For the month of January, just to kick off the year. In how do they say? Uh, Never mind. Can't think. Another long ass day. Another rainy ass day. Rainy and foggy. I'm telling y'all, I know that a lot of you that listen to me here on my crazy channel, that you're in Europe, or I think even like somebody is from like the Ukraine or somewhere like that. And I know I've got people in New Jersey and the Midwest. Hey, Tankard. Um, and so on and so forth. And I know, like, y'all, when you listen to me complain about like 60-degree weather, you must just it makes you probably want to throw up when I say that. And I apologize. I know you guys have like polar vortexes and all kinds of things. But in Los Angeles, California, this is unheard of. I mean, it's just, ooh, Lord, we don't know what to do. I was out and about today, talking to people, going places, doing things, and everybody, we're all just over it. Okay, down here in sometimes I like to call the place of my birth Los Angeles, because yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but God help you. God help you, like, deal with that freeway and deal with all the nonsense. But we're just everybody's talking about the weather. Everybody's talking about, oh my God, it was so cold this morning. It was like 50 degrees this morning. Like, I was freezing. And yeah, me too. Me too. I'm still not wearing shoes in the house, by the way. I'm still barefooted in the house because we do have heaters. Um, but anyway, yeah, I did all kinds of stuff today. But I'm back and I see. Okay, I did this. I put this up. Understanding the Shining, Part 9. What's up, Doc? What's cooking? What's up, Doc? I'm going to find that song and I'm going to put it in the community. But 22 hours ago, as of right now, 189 views. Thank you. Thank you. You just don't know how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All 189 of you who have looked at it and commented, lots of comments, like more than usual for my videos. So I'm just over the moon happy about that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we're going to do something a little more serious. I'm gonna get back to the New York Times with all their ads. This is what we're doing today for U.S. museums with looted art. The Indiana Jones era is over. I want to like do. I'll read through this for you. It says a 10-minute read, not on my channel. I don't know who they're talking to, but it's not me. 10-minute read my ass. But I'm gonna do that, like a read and a reaction. And I know a lot of you just like, I don't know I mean, you guys are wonderful people, and thank you for all those wonderful compliments. I know a lot of you just like listening to me talk. Thank you. Question mark. Thank you. So I guess that's your bedtime story for tonight. This article about looted art in U.S. museums. So that's it for today. What we're gonna do. I want to get the church announcements out the way. New viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, all 283 of you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Each and every single last one of you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video if you know anybody who would be interested in my particular brand of crazy. Please go ahead and do that. And until I get like a sponsorship deal or something like that, that's it for church announcements. Until they send me some swag, that's it. Like I said, on Instagram, I already got a DM like for sunglasses. I just don't know what to think about it. Got another DM for some other stuff. I don't know what was it. Some I can't even remember. But how do they find people like me with 283 subscribers? Like they must be desperate. But here we are on my homepage. You know you're in the right place. This is the latest video, right? What? What? Hold up. 191 views. Okay, whatever. And again, thank you for that. Now, I've been doing quite a few of these lately. All right, 6, 2, 1. Okay. Now, and I also did my community post. There you are. I found this, and I put the, you could go to the source, Guillaume Morelac, Born to Film. I am so proud. I didn't do this, but I'm proud of finding this. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. Born to Film, with instead of like Joker's peace sign, there's a movie camera, an old timey looking movie camera on a tripod. Tickets to the movie theater, or old timey looking tickets to the movie theater, and this like little bit of film stuck to the band on his helmet. Oh, this is awesome. I don't know what this is under the helmet, this little like buckle looking thing here, but it's interesting. And his eyes, those damn beautiful Stanley Kubrick eyes. I love them so much. So y'all, I think these are for sale. No, I'm not getting sponsored by this person. I just found this and I loved it. But like I think this takes you to Guillaume's website, and you can look at, he's got a lot of other stuff, and you can take a look at it. I'm sure there's other collections from other like pop culture genres or whatever. So there's that. And like I said, I'm going to find that Bugs Bunny song from the cartoon What's Up Doc and put it up here for your listening and viewing pleasure. And that's that, y'all. That's that. Once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for the response to the Shining video. I'm gonna do a rum break pretty soon. I think I'm due for a rum break. I need to talk about like little bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. And I might just make a viewer mail rum break because you guys have been coming up with some really interesting, really thought-provoking stuff, and I'm totally here for it. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. That's it for church announcements. I'm done with those. Here we go with this article. I saw this. I said, let me take a look at the art section of the New York Times, like what kind of fuckery has been going on lately. And here we are, okay, for U.S. museums with looted art, the Indiana Jones era is over. Mind you, I have not yet read this article all the way through. I've skimmed it. And I said, this is going to be good for a video. It's a little bit old. It's almost a month old. It's from December 13th, 2022. Updated December 16th, 2022. A 10-minute read. Like I said, my ass. So here we go, right? Here we go. By Graham Bowley. Prodded by law enforcement and pushed by foreign governments, American museums are increasingly returning artifacts to countries of origin, but critics wonder at what cost. Okay, these are some beautiful, I think these are like are they the Benin bronzes? Yeah, they're the Benin bronzes from 6 U.S. museums. This is the caption. Benin bronzes from 6 U.S. museums that have been returned or have been designated to be returned. The artifacts were originally seized by British soldiers in 1897. And then it tells you like where each one is located or was located in American museums. The Met, the National Gallery of Art in Washington, via the RISD Museum, the Hood Museum of Art, Dartmouth, National Museum of African Art, Smithsonian Institution, and the Middlebury College Museum of Art. I don't know why, this, I mean, I kind of already have my own opinion about this. Like, this shouldn't even be an issue, in my opinion. Like, there should be no issue with returning these items that were effectively looted from their place of origin, Benin, right? there should be no issue returning these to the people that they originally belonged to. Uh, why that's an issue? Critics, what does it say? Critics wonder at what cost. Yeah, what cost? Like, why can't they have their stuff back? It was taken because some British people showed up and said, okay, this is ours now. I mean, that seems cut and dry to me, but like, I guess not, according to this article. Let's see what they have to say. And oh, look at this. You can listen to the article. Thank you, New York Times. Right? To hear more audio stories from publications like the New York Times, huh? Okay. All right. Let me just get to reading. Now, you might say, oh, what? This is not a long article. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at all of this. And then there's the bottom part. Okay, we'll see how long it takes me. Hopefully it's not going to be a too long video, but, again, these are beautiful, beautiful items, beautiful African art, depicting various things that have various significance. I might do a video about African art one day. If I do that, I really want to do like fetishes from the Congo or the Democratic Republic of Congo. Because that's the one that I seem to know most about and that I most enjoy as far as items that I've seen from that part of the world. But that's for another video. Here we go, right? For decades, there was a swashbuckling aspect to collecting by American museums. In the 1960s, for example, some museum curators embraced the chase for prized artifacts as if it were big game hunting. Thomas Hoving, a Metropolitan Museum of Art curator who later became its director, took particular pride in his ability to outsmart rivals in the global pursuit of masterpieces. In one instance, he recalled spiriting a Romanesque relief from a Florentine church out of Italy with the help of a dealer who, Hoving said, often stashed objects under a mattress in his station wagon. Okay. This is going to be interspersed with my commentary. But you know that already if you've been following me. Doesn't that sound shady to you? Like under a mattress in a station wagon. What the hell? What? That sounds awfully suspicious. Shout out to Bailey Sarian. That sounds awfully, awfully, awfully suspicious. Like, I don't know if I'd want that. I mean, that sounds illegal. It sounds like this guy with a station wagon is up to no good, and this Hoving person, like, just didn't give a shit. But you know what? This makes me wonder whether or not, like in this case, like these alleged items that are allegedly from a Romanesque relief, allegedly from a Florentine church. Like, is it really from a Florentine church? If he has to, how did Station Wagon Man get those? And you know what I mean? Like, you would think the church would know they're missing, and like, I don't know. I just don't know. Don't make no sense to me. But such is the way of the art market. Yeah, and African art, it seems to be where that happens the very most. Like the most kind of deception and these kinds of machinations happen the very most with African art. I don't know why. I don't know why. There are plenty of forgeries. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, let me keep going. Often stashed objects under a mattress in his station wagon. Okay. And this is Hoving, I guess. My collecting style was pure piracy, he boasted, and I got a reputation as a shark. Today, many U.S. museums are facing a reckoning for their aggressive tactics of the past. Attitudes have shifted. The Indiana Jones era is over, and there is tremendous pressure on museums to return any looted works acquired during the days when collecting could be careless and trophies at times trumped scruples. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now they're paying for it. Why? Why now? Why did it take so long? I mean, you know, laws have been laws for quite some time. There's like probably always been laws prohibiting exactly what they're describing here, like mattresses, station wagons, like stealing from churches. My God. Hello. Uh, like the laws have always been laws. Why just now or recently, right? Is this becoming an issue? Or like, are we talking about this? This should have been like dealt with a long time ago. Never should have happened, really. But like, okay, it happened. That's terrible. But it should have been dealt with much sooner than this. It is 2023. Okay, they should have done something about this quite some time ago. Okay, let me keep it moving. Uh, though the tide turned more than a decade ago. Okay, a decade ago. The pace of repatriations has only accelerated in recent years. And I'm sorry, I keep pausing, but that's what I do. It says the tide turned more than a decade ago. That's about like when I was getting my education in art history. That's when they were talking about, at least in schools, okay, in classes and whatever, and about a decade, maybe a little more, maybe a dozen, maybe 15 years ago, approximately. And my professors and people like that were like, yeah, we can talk about this now. They would say, we can talk about this now, about how wrong this is. But like, 30 or so years ago, this was just like de rigueur. This was a common practice. It wasn't considered wrong morally, ethically, and what have you. But now we can discuss these issues openly. Like, yeah, stealing, basically, stealing from these countries, like wherever in Africa or in Asia, Southeast Asia, South America, and etc., etc., and so on and so forth. Greece, even, not just like places in the southern hemisphere or in the east. No, like Greece. Like there's plenty of things that have been stolen from a Western country like Greece or Turkey or whatever. But they couldn't. I mean, like I said, basically what my professors were telling me at the time is like, yeah, this was always considered wrong, and everybody knew it was wrong, but it was just accepted. It was common. It was considered okay. Now, like this thing says, the tide is turned. I have a problem with that personally. Personally, I have a problem with that because stealing is stealing. Period. Like there's not much to think about there. Theft is theft, stealing is stealing, wrong is wrong. But like why do we have like this allegedly fresh new perspective, and why is it okay to openly talk about how wrong it is now, but it wasn't okay like 30, 40 years ago? I don't understand. I don't understand that part. But that's just me. Let me keep it moving. Though the Oh yes, though the tide turned more than a decade ago, the pace of reparations has only accelerated in recent years. In just the last few months, museums across America have returned dozens. There should be a lot more, but whatever. Across America, have returned dozens of antiquities to the countries from which they were taken. The J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles returned 3 precious terracotta figures to Italy. Like I said, it's not just places in the southern hemisphere or the Far East or the, Southeast Asia. No, Italy. I mean, if Italy is not part of the Western world, I don't know what is. Why were they stealing from Italy? Or like this Florentine person with the station wagon and the mattress. Like, what the hell? Let me keep it moving. The Denver Art Museum shipped 4 antiquities back to Cambodia. The Smithsonian Institution returned 29. Wow. 29 Benin bronzes to Nigeria. And the Manhattan District Attorney's Office seized 27 looted artifacts from the Met, which are headed back to Italy and Egypt. Okay, so as you can see, this is an epidemic. This is not just like one museum or one collector or one like small collection of people or an organization that do this. No, this is like widespread, and it's been that way for quite some time. Okay, like going back, not it says going back to like the late 1800s when the Benin bronzes were taken. Yeah, that's just one example. This has been going on for centuries, really. You know. Um, so, but why? Why was it okay? Why was it okay? It's never okay. But why? Why was it considered okay back then? All this stuff, Italy, Egypt, Cambodia, Nigeria, Italy. Okay. All right. And here we go. We continue. I do have sympathy, said Elizabeth Marlowe, director of the Museum Studies program at Colgate University, for museum directors and curators who were trained under different ethical norms and now find themselves in a situation where they very publicly have to rethink the ethical norms they are operating under. That said, it's time to step up, gentlemen. It's a different landscape. No, Elizabeth. No, it ain't. She has sympathy. What the hell did she... Elizabeth. What'd you say, Elizabeth? I do have sympathy for museum directors and curators who were trained under different ethical norms. So, I mean, this statement that Elizabeth is putting out here is she's basically saying ethics are relative and situational. Oh my. Oh my. This I don't like this at all. I don't know how y'all feel, but I don't like this shit at all. No, stealing is stealing. Stealing has always been stealing. When you take something that's not yours, doesn't belong to you, you ain't got no business even being near it. That's just wrong. And there's no, I mean, there's no two ways about that. But, different ethical norms. Shit. And now find themselves in a situation where they very publicly, see, that's the problem right there. It's not that they have to do this. Like, now find themselves in a situation where they very publicly, that's the thing. Somebody's on their ass. And they wouldn't be doing this if somebody was not on their ass to, like, do the right thing. That's what's going on. So, yeah, if there wasn't, like, this, I guess, there's so many problems with this, but if there wasn't, like, this newfound morality, or I guess, new and improved ethics, as opposed to the old one, then this would not be happening, and nobody would care, and things would just keep going. Those bronzes wouldn't have been returned, and all this stuff. They would just keep it. If they weren't facing pressure to do it, and not just pressure, but public pressure. Yeah, that's it. Nobody. Ooh, this is how criminals work, by the way. Like, they keep going until they get caught. You know what I mean? Whether it's burglars, whether it's people who knock off liquor stores or whatever, they're going to keep doing that until the quote-unquote long arm of the law finally gets them. And the same thing goes for these Indiana Jones types. Oof, shit. Oh my God, I'm already getting angry. Now find themselves in a situation where they very publicly have to rethink the ethical norms they are operating under. That said, it's time to step up, gentlemen. It's a different landscape. Okay, Elizabeth, I don't like you at all. I don't like well, maybe, I don't know, Elizabeth. I don't know her. But this statement here, she's, Elizabeth, is saying this from a position of some kind of moral superiority. No, she's gloating. She's gloating, and she's trying to portray herself as somebody who would never. I doubt it. Let's take a let's take a better look at Elizabeth and what's going on over there at Colgate University. Oof. Don't. Oh yeah. I have no patience anymore. Don't try to sound like you would do better. You wouldn't. Shit. Oh, let me keep going. To Marlowe and others, The surge in museum repatriations is a just response to more than a century of treasure hunting that they say took advantage of societies made vulnerable by poverty, war, or political instability. It's just a response to is a response to more than a century of treasure hunting. And the treasure hunting was happening because the people that were stolen from were vulnerable because of poverty, war, or political instability. Lisbeth, girl, you work at a museum, director of the Museum Studies program at Colgate University. Listen, Lisbeth, if you really want to do right, just stop working for the museum. Stop being associated with a museum at all. Because museums are inherently, all of them, especially art museums, are inherently unethical places. Okay, Elizabeth. The fact that museums exist at all is because, and your career, by the way, the fact that museums and by extension your career exists at all was made possible by the very shit that you say that you're against. So if you really want to make it right, get a new job. Get a new career. Okay? That's like somebody saying that they don't like the Catholic Church, but like, going from door to door selling Bibles. No, don't do. That don't make no sense. I'm sorry. It's all the same shit. Whew. Okay, let me keep going. For some, though, the number of restitutions has become unsettling. Yeah, it is unsettling. Museums, like public libraries, have long enjoyed an exalted status as places that promote erudition by permanently preserving and displaying the significant objects that define human history and culture. According to who? See, that's what I was talking about. Museums and similar institutions, they are just one layer, or one, I guess, group of these purveyors of culture, and they are self-designated purveyors of culture. They're the ones who say what goes and what don't go with regard to the public discourse and educational discourse about this, that, and the other thing. They're the ones who make the rules, and we all dance to the song that they want to play as far as our education, as far as that kind of thing. Now they're being self-critical, allegedly. I doubt it, but whatever. For some, it's become unsettling. Yeah, that define human history and culture. According to who? That define human history and culture. Maybe history and culture are part of the problem. Maybe we need to rethink how we do that. How does history become history? Who writes it? It's always the victors, and it's never going to be the losers. So, okay, we got a problem that goes above and beyond all of this. Okay, let me keep going. But now curators are regularly watching ancient artworks long on display head out the door in shipping crates. Collecting practices embraced for decades have been recast as villainous. So they weren't always seen as villainous. Stealing was not always stealing. I don't know what kind of language they use to justify it, or to make it sound less horrible than it is. But no, stealing is stealing. Theft is theft. Wrong is wrong. Okay. We have moved the goalposts, said Kate Fitzgibbon, executive director of the think tank Committee for Cultural Policy. Oh yeah, I'm going to really... I already don't like it. Committee for Cultural Policy. I'm sorry. Anybody who's part of a committee or a governmental entity, whether officially or unofficially, yeah, I'm not really going to be very concerned at all about what you have to say. Because you and your place that you work for is part of the problem. So, Okay. Consider, for example, the mounting pressure on the British Museum to return the Elgin marbles that once graced the Parthenon. They were acquired at the dawn of the 19th century when the Ottoman Empire ruled Greece. Okay. The British view the sculptures and bas reliefs as legitimately transferred by the Ottoman authorities. The Greeks argue that the Turks, as occupiers, lack the moral authority to dispense with their history. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so this is supposed to be one of the complicated ones. This is what they're talking about here, I think. Yeah, this is the Elgin marbles, held by the British Museum in London. Greece's government says the sculptures should be returned to Athens. They probably should. But let's okay. The Greeks argue that the Turks, okay, as occupiers, yeah, the Turks occupied a large territory, the Ottomans rather, lack the moral authority to dispense with their history. Oh dear. No. This is interesting. Like, yeah, who do we blame here? Like, the British or the Turks? Hmm. So, I mean, is that what's going on here with this paragraph? Are the British like handing off the blame to the Turks? I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like it though, doesn't it? They were acquired at the dawn of the 19th century, so the early um, 1800s, right? Huh. And that's about the same time that like Napoleon's armies were like poking around Egypt and the whole thing. Hmm. Interesting. So the Ottoman Empire, for those of you who don't know, I think my viewership and listenership, I think you all are like a little more educated than the average population. But just in case, here's a little trivia for you. The Ottoman Empire was like a thing right up until basically the First World War. Okay, and so it's been a little less, or no, a little more approximately than a century that the Ottoman Empire has not been a thing. Okay, has not been in existence as it was right up until I think I don't quote me on those dates. I don't have exact dates, but like right up until the First World War, the Ottoman Empire was doing its thing. Okay, and so was like a bunch of empires, by the way. Um, and it was considered like okay. It wasn't considered okay. Like nobody really liked them. Um, you know, somehow they didn't make their way into the West, the Ottomans, thanks to thanks to the Croatians. Like the Croatians, like say, no, you're not getting past us, and that's the only thing that saved the Western world and Christendom from the Ottomans. As far as I know, I could be wrong about that too. Go ahead and correct me in the comments if you wish. I'm here for it. But yeah, so this is how recent. I know 100 years doesn't sound like, or actually, 100 years sounds like a long time. In the scheme of things, and in the scope of things, it's not really. 100 years is, pretty recent as far as history. And a lot of things have happened in the world in the last 100 years. But these Turks, though, you know, no, the Turks were not okay. But the British were not okay either. Okay? So they were kind of like the British and the Turks, like, I don't know if they were working like amicably with regard to this, or if they've considered each other rivals, or at least in this situation with these Elgin marbles. I don't know exactly what was going on, but this looks shady as hell to me. Anyway, let me keep going. This fall, Egyptian archaeologists renewed calls for the return of the Rosetta Stone by the British Museum. Again, this is, I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is a result of, again, the Napoleonic armies poking around that part of the world. This fall, yeah, by the British Museum, which has taken steps to distance itself from. How dare they? Which has taken steps to distance itself from its colonial past. Is that even possible? I mean, come on. Who do they think they're gonna fool? the British Museum and the British Army and the whole thing, like, is more or less synonymous with colonialism. How are they going to separate themselves from that? Like, the nerve of these people. The British, yeah, yeah, I can't. I just can't with this. I can't. But there it is. Taken steps to distance itself from its colonial past. Really? Okay. I mean, no. I mean, why don't they just, like, be honest and be sincere and say, okay, you know what? We fucked up. Okay, our forefathers and all those people in the past, they were full of shit. They were no good, and we apologize. And then just leave it at that. The more you talk, the more shit you get into, right? The more you would try to apologize, like, that's enough. Just say, okay, you know what? Yeah, we're sorry. It happened in the past. We're better now. We're trying to be better, and that's it. Period. All right, that's it. End of it. No, they gotta keep going. They got to do this shit and try to overcompensate for this. I don't know what. Is it a sense of guilt, or is it not a sense of guilt? This is like I said, I don't believe that they would be doing any of this if they weren't being forced to. That's my position. That's how I feel. Anyway, take a step to distance itself from its colonial past. Sure. Okay. 2 years ago, the museum relocated a bust of its founder, Hans Sloane, a slaveholder, to a vitrine exploring Britain and slavery. Okay. All right. In America, critics of the surge in returns worry, and there's do I dare click on that link? I don't know. Let me just read this. In America, critics of the surge in returns worry that museum collections built over time by scholars and imbued by a sense of context are being randomly depleted. Should U.S. audiences, they ask, be deprived access to iconic objects that they suggest belong not to individual nations but to humankind? The freaking nerve. So these critics who are worried about all this, so they consider themselves the stewards of, like, the history in general, not just for the US, not just for the Western world, no, but all of humankind, all over planet Earth. Really? Seriously? Like, how dare they? And by the way, I'm not a reactionary kind of person. Like, I'm not like one of those who gets offended by, like, the least little thing. I'm just not. But this is a little bit too much. In my opinion. Like, why don't they just keep their damn mouths shut? I mean, they're talking because, again, for the same reason they're returning these things. They're being forced to. They have no choice but to not remain silent. But I don't like it. It's just, this is making me angry. Because it's not just an issue of, okay, like, returning stolen things to the nations that they belong to originally. It's also an issue of money. It's, the amount of money that goes through these places, these museums, these universities, these colleges, is obscene. It's just the huge amounts of money that come into these places and fund whatever it is that they're doing. Who the hell knows what that is, really? But, like, the amount of money they get, and, like, where does the money come from? And then when they get the money, like, what do they do with it? Like, the Varsity Blues scandal with, I think locally here with USC, and, Aunt Becky and whoever going to jail. Like, so professors, people like that, yes, they can be bought, basically. They can, and the Varsity Blues scandal, if it taught us nothing else, it taught us that people that we used to respect, we shouldn't have. We should have never respected these colleges and the people who run them. They're all dirty, they're all corrupt, and they can all be bought and sold, and and these people in university, colleges, etc., etc., so on and so forth, those are the people in charge with writing history and setting culture and saying what goes and what don't go, and what's acceptable and what ain't acceptable as far as education, learning, um, ideas that are talked about in these environments, educational environments. Those people can be very, not just bought and sold, but very easily bought and sold. So I have no reason to trust them in any way, shape, or form whatsoever ever again. And I have this paragraph here, infuriating, absolutely infuriating to humankind. Not to individual nations, but to humankind. How dare you? Like I was talking about in that video the other day, my reaction video on Morally Safer on 60 Minutes. Yes, but is it art? Like, I was talking about how, none of what you see in the art world is there just by coincidence, just like random. No, this is all very calculated and planned out, and somebody has made sure that such and such art is prominently displayed and promoted and marketed and whatever. Somebody has made that decision. Who are those people? We usually never find out who they are. Same thing here, right? Same thing here. And these people are now, complaining that allegedly their power to do that is being taken away. And that, no, it isn't. It isn't. Like, things are really not changing. This makes it sound like things are changing. Oh, they're returning the Benin bronzes. Oh, they're returning the Elgin marbles. Oh, yeah, whatever. And they're just going to shift from one kind of theft to another. A shift is happening. Maybe the old guard is on its way out. They're like old. They're getting old and they're retiring and dying and becoming less and less relevant. And then here comes this new generation who have, more updated methods of stealing and lying and so on. That's what I believe is going on, really. That's what they won't say out loud. Let's keep it moving. Leila Amine Dole, an art and cultural heritage lawyer, has suggested that such thinking is outdated. Arguments against repatriation are sometimes supported by paternalistic and patronizing arguments. She wrote, asserting that Western collectors and archaeologists discovered these objects and have superior knowledge of them. Yeah, Layla, she's right that the statement up here is absolutely just so condescending. Layla is right about that. However, there's more stuff going on here. Like, Western collectors and archaeologists discover these objects and have superior knowledge of them. Who helped them? These Western collectors and archaeologists, they no good. No, these Western collectors and archaeologists are absolutely no fucking good. But, like, they didn't do this all by themselves. They had help. And you know who probably helped them? The people that they stole from. Or the people who, like, were connected to the people that they stole from, and they assisted in the theft. What about those people? Are they ever going to get held accountable? Whoever facilitated whoever the traitors were to their own culture, are those people ever going to get called out and have to answer for their treachery? I don't know. Because this sounds awful, like, and it is awful. The big bad British Army came in and just started stealing shit. Yeah, that's terrible. Who helped them? They wouldn't have been able to do that without the help of some of the locals. That's just a fact of life. That's just a fact of life. That's how I feel anyway. I'm maybe I'm like a little bit too suspicious of a person. Like, I see doom and gloom and treachery and stuff like that everywhere. But I don't know. I just don't know. So Layla has a point, however, like just what I just said. Experts say a significant change in attitudes about collecting dates to 1970, when nations began ratifying a UNESCO treaty to stem the trade in illicit artifacts. Oh, God. Awareness of the problem expanded further 20 years ago when antiques looting during the Iraq War made clear the scope of that black market. It's probably still in full effect. Who are they kidding? More recently, foreign governments like Cambodia have shown a greater interest in claiming their national heritage. Their tracking aided by the transparency afforded by the internet and online databases. Okay. So, the author of this article is saying that, the concern over this stuff can be traced back to 1970. Okay. When nations began ratifying a UNESCO treaty to stem the trade in illicit artifacts. And again, you know me, I'm suspicious about that too. Like, no, none of these people do anything to help anybody but themselves. They don't care about the people in Nigeria. They don't care about like the cultural heritage of Nigerians or the Egyptians or the Greeks or the whoever. No. All they care about is either facilitating further theft or making sure they don't get caught and prosecuted and whatever for what they've already done. So I'm suspicious about this UNESCO thing too. And never mind, let me keep going. But most significantly, U.S. authorities, both local and federal, have made the return of looted cultural heritage more of a diplomatic and law enforcement priority. U.S. Homeland Security investigations reports returning more than 20,000 items since 2007, largely seized from dealers and collectors, but also found in many of America's most prestigious museums. Okay. You know what would make me take this a little more seriously? I might link to it in a community post, but you'll see it. If I link to it, you'll see it. But like, why don't the Germans return the Amber Room? Or whoever has it, right? There was a show about the Amber Room, the theft of the Amber Room from, was it like the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, Russia? And they just came in and took the whole thing, and it's never been seen ever again since then. Like, I'm not blaming German people. No, I'm blaming the Nazis. And the Nazis and the German people are not necessarily the same thing. Let's, come on, let's have a real conversation about that. But, the people who took it, they hid it, it's somewhere. Like, this is a very well documented theft. Where is the Amber Room? When, and this is the Western world we're talking about, once again. Russia, Germany, World War II, etc. I think I'm going to link to that. I found it the other day. I might as well share it with you. It's a good episode. It's really entertaining, suspenseful, informative, awesome. I'll link to it. I've just made my decision. But okay, when they return the Amber Room to the Russians, then I'll believe that they really do want to play ball. Until then, nah. I have no reason to take anything they say seriously. But anyway, more than 20,000 items. So dealers and collectors. Okay, so these collectors, these rich ass people, again, their greed and their graft and their corruption is a big part of the problem. But also the museums, museums that are run by these mega rich people. Yeah, that's who's on the boards of these museums. The director of the museum, like I was talking about in my video about the Orlando Museum caper with the Basquiat forgeries. Yeah, that guy, de Groft, he's not the problem. He's the procurer, that's a polite word, but he's not the problem. His bosses are the problem. The board of directors and whoever it is that like put those people in those seats on the board. That's the problem, not de Graft. Come on now. Oh, let me keep going. There has been a broad agreement for decades that objects that were stolen in violation of law should be returned. But what has changed is the amount of time and focus spent on this kind of crime and the political will to pursue it, said Donna Yates, Associate Professor, Criminal Law and Criminology at Maastricht University in the Netherlands. Okay, Donna. All right. Like I said, theft is theft, and there's always been laws, and that's just been confirmed here, uh, by Donna. Yeah, the law has always been the law. Stealing has always been wrong. So, like, I don't even know what we're talking about here. Oh, okay. Oh, there she is. Of course. A coffin and a Kardashian. Well, I gotta read this caption. You know I do. Kim Kardashian poses next to the coffin of Nidyamank, a high-ranking priest of the ram-headed god Herishef of Hyrcanopolis at the 2018 Met Gala in New York. Okay. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting that they put a picture of her here with her like gold lame dress with a cross on it, of all things. And next to this, alleged coffin of this ancient Egyptian priest. I don't know what to think of this. I really don't. I would love to hear your comments. And I said alleged. I said alleged coffin. It might not be real. They're talking about all of this, and there's more for me to read. But, like, what if a lot of these things that they're yelling about and arguing about, what if some of these things are just flat out forgeries? And yeah, it happens. You might say, oh, Miss M, you're that's just too much. No, there are plenty of forgeries in museums, whether it's newer or, more recent art from the 20th century, from the 19th century, or even the Renaissance, or if it's things that are allegedly ancient artifacts from all of these different cultures on planet Earth. Like, how do we know those are real? And, a Rembrandt or a Van Gogh or a Leonardo, hello skis, I did a video about it here. You know, those are in some cases not that hard to forge, not that hard for criminals who do that to make things that look very, very, very convincing and realistic. For Van Goghs, Picassos, stuff like that, right? What's the other ones? Basquiat's, Banksy's. Basquiat and Banksy, real easy to forge because they don't take very much artistic skill. You can fool people very easily with abstract art, or even with not so abstract art, like a Van Gogh or a Rembrandt, or like I said, any of these older artists, like Renaissance masters and things like that. There are probably plenty of those fakes running around. But like items from the ancient world, especially items that have abstract looking figures, you don't have to worry about being true to realism or anything if you're the forger. Oh yeah, you can make things and make them look old, like they've been buried for centuries and whatever, and pass that off as an ancient artifact that you just happen to find in the wilderness or in the desert somewhere, and a collector or one of these Indiana Jones types is very easily swindled or bamboozled, or maybe not. Maybe they don't care whether or not they're being lied to. They just want to bring back something that they can claim is an authentic ancient artifact from this, that, or the other culture. Like this damn thing in this vitrine here this alleged sarcophagus of this alleged high priest from allegedly Hyrcanopolis. Like, doesn't this look a little... It looks like an enormous chocolate bar, like, wrapped in gold foil. To me, this doesn't look... I mean, but I'm not an expert, but this doesn't look, for lack of a better way of putting it, authentically Egyptian to me. Something is wrong. Something is just terribly wrong with this thing. That's my opinion. And like I said, I'm entitled to it, even though, yes, I always am aware of the possibility that I could be wrong. But look at this fucking thing. That looks a little too fresh to be like thousands of years old. No. Oh my God. Anyway, the dealer seemed to have the correct paperwork. But where were we talking about? Oh, a coffin and a Kardashian. Okay, so we've transitioned into this. Okay, so we talked to whoever, Donna Yates at Maastricht University. Okay. And now we're transitioning over into this part of the article, a coffin and a Kardashian. Oh, Lord. Now, bear in mind, I have not read this article all the way through. I just skimmed through it. So, yeah, I saw the picture of Kim Kardashian, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good. But, no, I haven't read this part, really. So, let me just go ahead and do that. The dealer seemed to have the correct paperwork. The laws of Egypt appeared to countenance its sale, so it was with considerable enthusiasm in 2007 that the Metropolitan Museum of Art paid nearly $4 million for a gold-plated coffin dating back to the 1st century BC. It had been created to bury Nedyamak, a high-ranking priest of the ram-headed god Hediashef of Heracleopolis. Not Hyrcanopolis, Heracleopolis. Sorry. Then, during the 2018 Met Gala, Kim Kardashian posed next to it, sheathed in a gold dress that shimmered like the coffin itself. Her image circled the globe and was spotted by the Jordanian smuggler, who had taken the coffin and tipped the high priestess mummy into the Nile. Oh my God. What the hell? Oh, shit. Let me keep reading before I say anything else. I'll read that again. Her image circled the globe and was spotted by the Jordanian smuggler, who had taken the coffin and tipped the high priest's mummy into the Nile. Ooh, this sounds shady to me. He complained to another smuggler that he had never been paid for his efforts. As it turns out, his confidant was an informant for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Okay. The investigators found the export license had been forged. The coffin had not. Oh, bullshit. Oh, no, I think it's fake. I think this smuggler, I don't think how is he going to steal a whole fucking sarcophagus? How? How? Another station wagon? Another mattress? Is that how these things always go? Something doesn't make sense to me about this. Yeah. He complained and he complained that he did all that and he didn't get paid. Why didn't he get paid? Because he was probably selling or trying to smuggle something that had absolutely no value whatsoever, because it probably wasn't a real ancient artifact or, archaeological find or whatever. I mean, hello. He was, ooh, Lord, there's so many problems with this story. And his confidant was an informant for the Manhattan DA's office. Really? So somebody from the Manhattan DA's office was posing as another smuggler? What the hell? What? There's something they're not telling us here. They're saying it, but they're not saying it all the way. What the hell is going on? Oh my God. Okay, let me keep going. The investigators found the export license. I think I already read that. The coffin had not left Egypt in 1971. Okay. It had been illegally excavated. Oh, this is going to be good. Illegally excavated in 2011, smuggled to Dubai, then Germany, and Paris. When the coffin arrived at the Met, one of the high priest's finger bones was still attached inside, according to the investigators. Like, why would he... Okay, I'm going to stop for a second again. Why the hell would he throw the mummy into the Nile River? Like, the mummy is probably just as valuable as the coffin. You know what I mean? Like, and if these smuggler types, all they care about is money, right? All they care about is getting paid. Like, if he wants to get paid for making this, amateur archaeologist discovery, like Heinrich Schliemann, remember him? Oh, Lord. Like, he would have probably tried to sell the mummy too. Or, figure out how to make some money off of that thing. I don't believe this story for 1 second. Nope. Anyway, finger bone was still attached inside. Sure. According to investigators. Only 2 years after buying the coffin, the Met agreed to return it to Egypt. What were they really buying? They were not buying like this Cadbury bunny, like, or Lindt chocolate bunny, sarcophagus. I am sorry, that doesn't look. I could be totally wrong. I probably am at least somewhat wrong, but this just no. This looks like it's like an enormous chocolate wrapped in gold foil. I don't believe it. Only the Met agreed to return it to Egypt. Sure. 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 What did the Met really buy? What were they really paying for? Not this thing. To this whatever smuggler. Oof. After we learned that the museum was a victim of fraud, the Met's president, Daniel H. Weiss, said, and unwittingly participated in the illegal trade of antiquities, we worked with the DA's office for its return to Egypt. Okay, cool. Did they get their money back? That's what I want to know. Okay, they paid for this fucking thing that was, like, pushed around by this smuggler. Okay, and they gave whoever the money. Did they get their money back? What did they say? How much was this thing? $4 million. Okay, did they get the $4 million back? I don't know. Maybe if I keep reading, I'll find out. But no, I guess not. Where's that $4 million? Who got it? The smuggler? Is the smuggler in jail now? Okay, if the smuggler is in jail, all right, fine. Where's that money? Where's the money? Who did that money really go to and why? That's my question. Okay. The museum was a victim of fraud. The nerve of them. The nerve. No. No, the museum was not a victim at all of anything. Anyway, returned under pressure. Here we go. Museums do show... What is this? Orpheus and the Sirens life-size terracotta figures dating to 300 BC were a signature piece of the Getty Villa Museum. They were seized by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office earlier this year, so that's 2022, and returned to Italy. Okay. Museums do show a heightened sensitivity to the integrity of their collections and have returned illicit objects based on their own research, but experts say most museum repatriation of recent years has been sparked by government claims or U.S. law enforcement efforts. Like I said, they wouldn't be doing it if they hadn't been forced to. That's one issue. And another issue is, I thought we were talking about stuff in this article that was stolen. So, paying, whether or not I believe this is like a real story or this actually happened, that's beside the point. But like, somebody paid $4 million for something. That's not theft. That's a purchase. Like, so what are we even talking about in this article? We started out with the Benin bronzes and the British Army and all of their, like, bullshit that they did over the years. All right. Okay, yeah, now we're on to this. So, sales of items made under false pretenses. Okay, so that's a swindle, $4 million swindle. All right. But what are we talking about even anymore in this article? Let me keep going. Listed object based on their own research. Museums show a heightened sensitivity to the integrity of their collections and have returned illicit objects based on their own research. Okay. But experts say most museum repatriations of recent years, like I said, they wouldn't be doing it if they hadn't been forced to. There is a sense that the U.S. should not be the repository of the world's stolen property, says Stefan D. Casella, a former federal prosecutor. Well, it shouldn't, Stefan, but it is. And there's a reason why it is. Are you going to talk about that, Stefan? I mean, no, Stefan's probably perfectly okay. He seems to be working for the good guys who want to, make things right. But, Stefan, I need more information, Stefan. The Office of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has a dedicated unit that focuses on restitution. Since 2011, the office says it has recovered nearly 4,500 antiquities from collectors and dealers and, in several cases, from museums. Again, these damn collectors and dealers. And they say, and in several cases from museums. Like museums are like just, it's an accident if they find something at a museum. Oh, come on. Okay. Last summer, the unit served a search warrant on the Getty. Ooh. Regarding the three major terracottas, Orpheus and the Sirens, mainstays of the museum's collection. I don't know why they're not particularly beautiful, but whatever. It cited the New York State Penal Code, in particular section that prohibits the possession of stolen property and is typically used in more prosaic settings to recover things like stolen cars. Okay. Matthew Bogdanos, the assistant district attorney who leads the unit, said it had overwhelming evidence. The Getty gulped. Bogdanos recalled and said, "Yes, you are right, it's stolen," and returned it. Okay. All right. Okay. In fact, the Getty decided, based on its own and independent research, to return additional items to Italy. Oh my God, that just sounds like they're unloading. Like, like when a thief burgles a home, and a burglar burgles a home, and they can't hold on to those items, but they can't not hold on to them either. So they steal whatever they steal, right? From wherever they steal it from, somebody's house, somebody's car, whatever. And they can't just run to the pawn shop and pawn off whatever they stole, like jewelry or whatever. No, they have to hold on to it for a little while. Because, why? Because, when somebody's house gets burgled, that's the first place the police check pawn shops to see whether or not items matching the description of whatever was stolen from somebody's place, whether or not they're in the pawn shop. And a pawn shop, if you watch that show on the History Channel, when they get something, when somebody they buy something from somebody that comes to the pawn shop, they can't just put that right on display in the pawn shop right away. No, they have to put it in a room and let it sit there for a while, just in case the police are looking for it. Okay, so that reminds me so much of what I just read here. The Getty decided, based on its own and independent research, to return additional items to Italy. They want to get rid of all these hot items. They know, they know that they shouldn't have these things. They know they're stolen. They know, or that the purchase was fraudulent or whatever, and they don't want They don't want to fool with anybody. They don't want to get in trouble with anybody. Sounds to me like they're overcompensating for something. Like, what the hell is really going on? Okay, you got these things up here, the Orpheus and the Sirens. Okay, all right. But, like, why are you doing all this extra stuff, Getty Museum? Like, you sound guilty. You sound like you're trying to take the heat off of you. Okay. Getty has been conducting vigorous provenance research for years, and we return items based on evidence of illegal excavation, said Lisa Lapin, Getty spokesperson. Okay. I do give them credit, Bogdanos said of museums that cooperate, but I don't think anyone should think we walk in the door and it's glad you are here. That does not happen. Okay, you go, Bogdanos. Yeah, Matthew Bogdanos. Good for you, Matthew. Like, he's kind of telling the truth here, isn't he? He's like, no, this is never a pleasant experience for the people who have to hand over the stuff, like the museums or whatever. He's keeping it real, which is kind of refreshing in the middle of all of this bullshit in this article. So the Getty is making it sound like they're like, good little Boy Scouts, but Bogdanos is basically like blowing their cover and saying, yeah, no, they are not eager to make things right. Don't you believe it? This is getting so cute and so interesting. Let me take a little coffee break, and I'll be right back to finish this article. So, impact of the treaty, okay, and steps forward by museums, and anything else, and questioning their commitment. And then that's it. Okay, see, I knew this was a long article. I picked it for a reason. So yeah, let me go get a little coffee, and then I'll be back and finish up this article. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Anyway, let me keep going. Let me get through this thing. The impact of a treaty, it says here. Experts say the 1970 UNESCO Convention helped redefine acceptable behavior when it came to antiquities. Nations pledged to cooperate and follow best practices to curb the import of stolen items. Okay, I wanted to know more about this, so, thank you. They delivered. Though the treaty governed by conduct of nations, though the treaty Though the treaty governed the conduct of nations, not institutions, museums began to set guidelines that aligned in spirit with its principles. Many agreed, for example, not to acquire an artifact without clear documented evidence that it had left its country of origin before 1970 or had been legally exported after 1970. It has reset the range of acceptable behavior, said Nicholas M. O'Donnell, a lawyer who specializes in art matters. Okay. Still, the ethos of collecting hardly changed overnight. When I first entered the world of curators, it was the Wild West, 1970 notwithstanding, said Gary Vicon, who was a curator in the 1980s and later became director of the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore. Curators and museum directors wanted to get important works. You wanted to be the one that gets the icon, that sculpture, that bronze. While the 1970 cutoff date reduces the risk of acquiring a stolen object, it does not inoculate museums from claims. Countries can, and do, make demands for objects acquired earlier based on their own national ownership laws that define when an artifact became state property, and thus illegal to be exported without an official license. Italy, for example, has had one on the books since 1909. U.S. investigators often cite such ownership laws when pressing museums to return items that left the country after such a law was in place. To succeed, they must show that the law was clear and unambiguous, that the archaeological artifact is truly from that country, and that it was still there when the law was enacted. Investigators will also point to other violations of customs laws, such as when smugglers mislabel an item on shipping forms. The Egyptian coffin, seized from the Met, for example, was described as a gypsum wooden box and lid. Long pause. Oh my. Was described as a gypsum wooden box and lid on documents presented to German officials. The fact that a museum acquired an antiquity in good faith does not matter, even if the seller or donor was not aware an item was looted. Under U.S. law, one can never acquire good title to stolen property. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. This is very educational, the impact of a treaty. Now this paragraph here, gypsum wooden box with what if that was actually what it was? I said what I said a little while ago about, where is it? This here. I told you this shit looks fake to me. Oh, Lord. And now, me, I have no way, just little old me, little old Miss Sam, I have no way of checking on any of my suspicions or anything. But when I saw this, investigated violations of customs law, such as when smugglers mislabel an item on shipping, mislabel, eh? The Egyptian coffin seized from the Met, for example, was described as a gypsum wooden box and lid. Maybe that's just exactly what it is. Like I said, it looks like an enormous chocolate with a gold foil to me. But gypsum wooden box and lid, that sounds a little bit more close to what it probably really is. I don't care. You know what? I'm not a psychic. I'm not even very smart. But, like, when something just sounds like bullshit or looks like bullshit, I am so sorry. I gotta say it. I gotta say it out loud. And wouldn't it be awesome, y'all? Wouldn't it be awesome if Kim Kardashian was actually, like, not what we think she is? This is just a little aside, right? What if she and the whole Kardashian family, like all of them, the mom, all the sisters, everybody, like, what if they're all like really secret agents working for whoever, like law enforcement, the FBI, the whoever, and they're like secretly like like Charlie's Angel or something. I don't know, right? Like what I mean, she I guess the story or the assumption is that she posed next to this thing because it's gold and shiny just like her dress. But what if Kim is like actually just doing this picture because she knows it's going to be seen. She knows that she's Kim Kardashian and she's like one of the most photographed people on planet Earth. And she knows that people are going to see this and this photo is going to get into the magazines, the blogs, the everything. And, and whoever she's working with law enforcement, like I said, the district attorney, like FBI, the Department of Justice, whatever, like, I mean, isn't she supposed to be studying to become a lawyer or something? This is my little, like, okay, you heard it here first. An object of art exclusive. This is my little conspiracy theory about Kim Kardashian and, like, who she really is and what she's really up to. Like, she's helping the good guys. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be awesome? I'm just going to go ahead and believe that because it makes me feel good. Okay? Now, you can judge me all you want, but okay, thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. If nobody else does, I do. Thank you. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Okay. Yeah. Gypsum wooden box and lid. Mm-hmm. Hiding in plain sight. Hiding in plain sight. Just like that diamond in the movie. Alfred Hitchcock's last movie, Family Plot, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, that diamond was hiding in plain sight, like many things are. That's the best place to hide stuff, sometimes, where everybody can see them. The problem is, most people don't look. Let's keep it moving. Next part of this article, steps forward by museums. Okay. In October, I'm reading the caption of this photo. In October, the official return of the Smithsonian bronzes featured a ceremony where Dr. Abba Issa Tijani, the Director General of Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments, left, and Lonnie Bunch, Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, signed the transfer documents. Okay. Steps forward by museums. The Smithsonian Institution this year adopted an ethical returns policy that holds that issues of fairness could trump any legal title it might possess. Put forward as Exhibit A of its new seriousness was an announcement that it would return 29 Benin bronzes to Nigeria. The bronzes, which carry the name even though they were often made from brass, ivory, or wood, are not being given back as a matter of law, but, experts say, as a matter of morality. The Kingdom of Benin, in what is now southern Nigeria, had no heritage law in place in 1897 when British soldiers seized thousands of them as trophies. Thousands of them! Okay, listen. You know what? I definitely have an opinion about what I just read, but let me just keep that to myself, at least for now. The bronze, thousands though. Thousands. I knew it was a lot of them. I knew it was a lot of them. I didn't know it was thousands. Okay, let me keep going. The bronzes, and as we just read here, they're called bronzes, but like most of them are not bronzes. Brass, ivory, or wood. That doesn't sound like bronze to me. So, what the hell is really going on here? What? I told you the forgery market in places like Africa is booming. It always has been. Probably always will be. Probably always will be. There are a lot of charlatans that make things out of precisely these materials, save ivory, because ivory is like, pretty much illegal now. But like wood, brass, whatever, and they pass them off as ancient artifacts or items found in archaeological digs. Like, that's been going on for a long, long ass time. And when like scholars, academics who specialize in these fields, whether it's archaeology, anthropology, art history, whatever, when they talk about that aspect of it, of like the very robust forgeries trade, they try to just like make up some cute little excuse like, well, yes, it is a forgery. Yes, it is a forgery made by some guy in his garage, somewhere, wherever. But it's still part of that culture, so it's still, we can still analyze it as something that's part of this culture. Okay. Like, what am I supposed to think of that? What is anybody's? That's their way. That's their way. Like I said, these universities and colleges and places, like, they're a big part of the problem. They're the ones who like justify this, and somehow they use real cute, like, dense ass language to justify the fuckery that's going on here. The theft, the forgeries, the illicit trade, the just general deception and complete crap. Like, really, seriously. Okay, and that's how they explain it. Yeah, it's a forgery, but it's still part of the culture because it was made there by really? 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 And the people who buy this shit, quote unquote collectors, they know. They know. Dealers, collectors, whoever, they know that these items are forgeries. That's why when I saw that, when I said thousands, that's why I stopped. That's why I paused when I read the word thousands. Like, thousands? How many thousands? Why don't you tell us how many thousands? You must have at least a ballpark figure of how many thousands of these. Come on now. Come on now. You could have easily found out that number, an approximation of how many thousands. Yeesh. Infuriating, just irritating. At the very least, like annoying and irritating. At the very worst, infuriating, absolutely infuriating. And they write these articles, and people read these articles without a critical eye. They read these articles completely, like credulously. Ay, 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 ay. Thousands, huh? Okay. Let me keep going. The bronzes have become a focal point for the repatriation debate. At least 50 American museums hold at least one, that's how many of them there are, at least one Benin bronze, and there are a total of roughly, okay, see, this is what I need, ballpark figures. I know you can't tell me exactly how many, but roughly, that's good, roughly 1,100 in the U.S. so far. In the U.S., period, sorry. So far, at least 10 museums have returned bronzes or are planning to. Who are they going to return them to? Ay, ay, ay. And then when, like, you know, I'm like on a roller coaster with this article. Okay, if they get returned back to Nigeria, then Nigeria is going to have them, and then like that's not the end of the story. Like I think they should, like, if they really belong, if they're really originally from Nigeria, yes, return them back to Nigeria. But when the Nigerians get them back, like, okay, then what? I mean, you know, each and every one of them has like a story attached to it, right? So like people are going to work like overtime writing articles, essays, papers about these items, like, and where are they going to display them? Where are they going to store them? What's going to happen to them? Hmm? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Okay. Critics complain that, among other things, such returns take treasures that showcase a country's artistic brilliance from an international capital like Washington, where they are much seen, and send them to a remote, uncertain settings. Like, that's kind of what I said. I still think they should be returned if they are, in fact, from Nigeria originally, or whatever country, like the particular item happens to be from. It should be given back to that culture, to those people. But something about this isn't making total sense to me. And I can't figure out exactly what that is. So, I don't know. I just don't know. This don't make no sense. Something is wrong. It's like Judge Judy, if you ever watch Judge Judy, and like somebody's trying to bullshit her, and she's like, "Oh, don't you dare!" Like, you know how she talks. Don't, no. She says, when somebody's lying to me, like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. This is what Judge Judy says. And I mean, I'm not Judge Judy. I'm not even close to her greatness, but like a similar thing happens to me. I get this weird feeling when I read a story and like shit don't make no sense. If shit don't make no sense, then shit don't make no sense. And it don't make no sense because like somebody is making sure that it don't make no sense. And that bothers me so much. Like, until I can reconcile like these two parts of something that just don't go together or don't make no sense, that bothers me. That bothers me so much. Is it because I'm female? Is it because I'm weird? Or I'm just like, unfortunately, a suspicious person? I don't know. But it don't make no sense. It just don't. Critics complain. Okay, uncertain settings. One organization, the Restitution Study Group, has sued to block the Smithsonian's transfers. What? Oh my God, what? The Restitution Study Group. Who are these people? Deidria Farmer Paleman, executive director of the group, said her ancestors were traded as slaves from ports controlled by the Kingdom of Benin, where colonial-era rulers participated in the slave trade. She views the artifacts, some of which are said to have been created from the very metal that was exchanged for slaves, as part of her heritage, and often took her daughter to see them at museums. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Interesting perspective from Deidria, Farmer Paleman. If they go back, what then is left for us? She said in an interview. Hmm. Wait a minute. Let me read this again. One organization, the Restitution Study Group, has sued to block the Smithsonian's transfers. Deidria Farmer Paleman, executive director of the group, said her ancestors were traded as slaves. So, I guess I assume her ancestors were African, from ports controlled by the Kingdom of Benin, where colonial-era rulers participated in the slave trade. She views the artifacts, some of which are said to have been created from the very metal that was exchanged for slaves, as part of her heritage, and often took her daughter to see them at museums. Okay, so I guess if I'm understanding this right, at the time during the slave trade period in colonial era, okay, like they could buy people with metal, like that was how they paid for the people, okay, and then that metal, I guess bronze, right, was used to create these Benin bronzes, not all of which are metal. Some of them are brass, ivory, or wood, as we see here. Like, and she says, if they go back, what then is left for us? She said in an interview. Who is us? This is a very interesting perspective, but like, who is us? Is it her and her daughter that go to the museum, or like, the African American community in the United States, who are in many people are here because of that slave trade? Oh, like, what's going on? I'm trying to understand, but this is a little confusing. I hope you can see why. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on what about this is so confusing, but it is. Whew. Okay. Let me keep going. What is this? An early Byzantine bracelet with a cameo of Medusa in the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. Okay. More debates of this sort are likely as museums grapple with increased scrutiny. Yeah, they're doing it because they have to. Some already have chosen to respond with measures like the appointment in 2010 of Victoria Reed by the Museum of Fine Arts Boston as its curator of provenance. Her job includes identifying looted objects in its collection. Okay. She recently called attention to a new wall label for an ancient bracelet purchased by the museum in 2008. The label acknowledges. Oh my. Oh, hold on. The label acknowledges that the museum no longer believes the account of the seller. We now believe the information is untrue, probably fabricated and used repeatedly by the seller to disguise instances of archaeological looting or forgery. It doesn't say that there. I added it. Psh. Ooh. The label acknowledges that the museum no longer believes the account of the seller. Like, I heard, I've read stuff and I've watched documentaries and stuff that, about these things being like this whole issue, this whole thing being really, really, really shady. Like these forgeries just being all over the place and everywhere and all up in the museums, all up in the galleries. Like, it's just cray cray. But at the time when I was reading all this stuff and like kind of into this, and I still didn't believe it. I said, oh, it can't be that bad. It can't be like, a lot of stuff in the museums is just either there because it was stolen, or in many, many, many cases, it's just not real. It's not like, it's not an authentic, like whatever they claim it is. It's not an authentic Van Gogh. It's not an authentic, like, artifact from an ancient culture halfway across the world. Like, I thought they were exaggerating when I read stuff and watched stuff that said like how common this is. I guess I was wrong to be skeptical about those claims. Wow. Here's one of Victoria Reed's tweets. Gallery lighting is tough. I'm proud that we've moved into a new area of transparency. In addition to this label, we've updated our provenance pages online to discuss issues of antiquities provenance more openly. No, you ain't. You won't even talk about the real thing. You won't even talk about the possibility that this thing is a forgery. Girl, sit down. Ooh, okay. The Met and other museums have also entered into loan agreements that return ownership of artifacts to the country of origin, but permit their continued display of by the institution. Museums don't need to own, all caps, own, objects to share them with the public, said Yates of the University of Maastricht in an email. Oh, okay. Is this the last part? I hope so. I'm getting tired. Questioning their commitment. Some art world experts are not convinced that U.S. museums have fully embraced the new ethos of transparency and internal scrutiny. They point to what they consider to be loopholes in the Association of Art Museum Directors guidelines on the acquisition of artifacts. The association, which serves as the industry's ethical compass, discourages the acquisition of any object without a documented provenance before 1970, unless it has an official export permit. But the guidelines allow museums to accept such an artifact if they list it on an online registry where they report whatever provenance information they do have as a justification for taking it in. To date, museums have posted 1,754 objects on the exception registry. That to me, that number sounds a little low, but whatever. The association has spoken on how seriously it and its member organizations view the issues of looting and cultural heritage, but Patty Gerstenblythe, I'm not sure, the director of the Center for Art, Museum, and Cultural Heritage Law at DePaul University, called the registry's standard very, very loose. Okay, you go, Patty. Thank you. It looks like a fig leaf. Oh my God. It, it looks like a fig leaf, she said. Um, oh Lord. I mean, I think I know. I think you could, like, figure out why I'm laughing at that. Fig leaves are used to, like, cover the private parts of a statue or a work of art. Oh my goodness. Marlowe, the Colgate professor, said she too is skeptical. I don't want to hear from Marlowe, but here she is. The Colgate professor said she too is skeptical that all museums are serious about scrutinizing their collections. Marlowe, Elizabeth. No, her name's Elizabeth. I don't know, Elizabeth. I would be quiet if I were you. The strategy museums have adopted is to pretend that these objects materialized out of nowhere, she said. No, that's not what they're doing, Elizabeth. They're just like, they're not even trying to pretend that anything materialized out of nowhere. They're just like pissed about having to return shit. Period. Stop trying to make this not something that it's not. But we are learning more and more they know exactly where these pieces came from, and they are effectively lying in their labels. Okay. All right. Marlowe. Elizabeth. Vikan, the former museum director, said that while he fully endorses repatriation efforts, of course he does, The cost for museums goes beyond the loss of artifacts already in a collection. Given their limited acquisition budgets, American museums have relied on donated antiquities, and now donors who lack full paperwork can be reluctant to make gifts, and museums are reluctant to accept them. Okay. But he does not worry that large museums, which typically display only a fraction of their holdings, that's true, will be significantly hurt by more robust repatriation efforts. If anyone tells me that sending the Elgin marbles back to Greece, that somehow the British Museum will be empty, is nonsense, he said. Bogdanos, the assistant district attorney, agreed. I don't want to denude New York of its extensive cultural treasures, he said. I just want people to walk into museums, even other people's apartments, and see an antiquity and know, I bet you it's okay. It's legal, because here in New York, they take that seriously. Okay. I don't know. Do I even want to open these comments? I guess I do. And so, okay, Sela, this person here, whoever this is, said, and we needed a photo of KK. Why? She's referring to Kim Kardashian. I just told you why. I told you why. Kim Kardashian, crime fighter. Thanks for the early morning laugh. You know, some things are just crazy enough to be true. Some things are just crazy enough to be true. Uh, wow. Oh Lord, see this Kim Kardashian story. It's difficult. Uh, golly. I mean, there's a lot of these comments. I'm surprised that the New York Times even does comments. There's 423 of them. Um, that's a lot, and it's been barely a month that this article has been up. A lot of places don't do comments anymore. You know, like back in the day, they did comments and people would get up in there and say all kinds of whatever, like whatever they wanted to say. And they cut that off in a lot of publications. But here's the New York Times, like they're not afraid of nothing. Good for them. But anyway, of course, I'm not going to read through. I'm going to link to this article so you can read through it and the comments as much as you like. But I'm going to like go back to the KK pic. There she is, crime fighter, Kim Kardashian, crime stopper. This is interesting. This is interesting. This is interesting. You know, it's my little conspiracy theory, but wouldn't it be awesome if it's true? So, you guys, I did what I did. I read this article. Took me a long ass time to do it. It's almost an hour and 45 minutes that I've been at it. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. I sure did. Oh, oh yes. I think I might use this as my thumbnail. Like, you know, hopefully I'll boost some my views on my channel with, you know, KK right there. I don't know. But, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about any of the issues that are discussed in this article or any of the things I said in response, you know, my commentary, my John Maddening of the of the article, yeah, my reaction, whatever you want to call it. You guys have like gone crazy with the comments in this one, part 9, and I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much. Your enthusiasm, your awesome ideas. Yeah, I'm going to do a rum break real soon. Real soon. Maybe even tomorrow or maybe the day after. I don't know. Pretty soon for one of my next videos. I love it. Thank you. Once again, returning viewers, thank you for returning. New viewers, thank you for being new. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. And all of you who are watching this, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this or any of my videos with anybody that you know who might enjoy my particular brand of crazy. I would appreciate it so much. And if you've already done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you. Um, Again, I hope that whatever it is that I'm doing here, my little project here on this channel, that is getting through to people, that if you don't agree with me, you don't have to. I don't expect you to, and I don't hold it against you if you don't agree with me. But I hope that at least I'm giving you something to think about, something to, that will give you maybe a little bit of a nudge into doing your own educational journey, looking stuff up, reading stuff, watching stuff, thinking about stuff, talking about stuff with people. That is my reason for doing this, and my hope that that's what it will lead to. So, with all that being said, once again, thank you for watching, listening, what have you, and until the next time I find yet another reason to make one of my ridiculous little videos and talk at you, I will go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, from rainy Los Angeles, California, rainy, foggy, horrible Los Angeles, California, I'm going to go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.